Hi everyone, Leslie Meese here, the Bodywork Guru, and just popping in to share a self-care tip of mine, ice baths. Now I don't recommend ice baths to everyone, but there are some specific cases where I do recommend them, and in those specific cases, they're very, very effective. Now ice baths can be very intense and usually are used by serious athletes. And in fact, if you were in track or field or cross country in school, you may have even had ice baths in your school and dunked your legs in them at the end of practice. Personally, an ice bath on the legs is way too intense for me because my feet are super sensitive to temperature. So I've never been able to do an ice bath for my legs or my feet. But I have used them for my hands, forearms, wrists. And that's what I usually recommend to people, because even though you can use them on your legs, you can use them even full body, believe it or not. The hands and wrists is the easiest way to use them on your own at home, and it's probably, in my opinion, one of the least intense places to utilize it on yourself. So I recommend using one of those 5-gallon utility buckets, and I think you can get them at Home Depot for maybe $1 or just a few dollars. Basically, you can use anything that's big enough to submerge your forearm all the way up past your elbow. I like the utility buckets because it's going to be upright once I put my arm in there, whereas if I were using like a tote or a big basin, I would have to hunch forward to put my arms in there, and that's not a comfortable way to sit for 20 minutes. Yes, I did say 20 minutes. Now, if you don't make it up to 20 minutes on your first treatment, that's okay. This can be a very intense treatment, so if you need to work your way into it, then by all means do that. But usually the first few minutes are the worst, and then you go numb, given that you have enough ice. You will need to go to the store and buy a 10-pound bag of ice for this treatment to make sure that you have enough ice. Nobody's freezer makes enough ice for this, I guarantee it. And you may think that you're going to get off easy by putting less ice in the bath. That actually makes it worse because then you don't go fully numb. So don't skimp on the ice and put extra in there because your body heat's actually going to melt it. I like to do this in front of a TV show so that I have a distraction, something like that. And sometimes in the summertime, personally, I don't have air conditioning at home, so it's actually pretty nice. In the wintertime, sometimes I'll get my heated blanket and wrap it around me while I'm doing this treatment so that the rest of me doesn't get too cold. So you're going to create your ice bath. You're going to submerge, like I said, all the way up past your elbow, and you're going to stay in there for 20 minutes. Now, when you pull your arm out, your fine motor skills are going to be numb. Don't freak out, that's totally normal, and it might take several minutes for your hand to kind of thaw out, and in the meantime it's gonna feel like it doesn't work properly, especially when it comes to finite movements. So don't worry about that, it's normal. Why would you do an ice bath for your arms? Things like tendonitis, carpal tunnel, any kind of wrist pain really. And if you burn your hand and you do an ice bath, oh my goodness, that is going to pretty much heal it immediately. You won't even believe it, especially if you do the full 20-minute treatment. Another really good time to use an ice bath is any impact injury to a finger. So you shut your finger in a car door or something like that. When I was a kid, we lived in the mountains, I smashed my thumb in a 2,500 pound log splitter. Yeah, my mom did the same thing the year before. She lost her thumbnail, but she used ice packs, not an ice bath. And there is a big, big, big difference in results from those two treatments. Ice baths are way more efficient and effective. So when I smashed my thumb in the log splitter, she had me submerge it in ice water rather than using ice packs like she did, and I did not lose my thumbnail. Any kind of issues with your elbows you can use it for, because you can submerge up to your elbow. So golfer's elbow, tendonitis, any of those kinds of things. Try an ice bath, particularly when you're in pain. Try an ice bath and see if that gets it to go away. It creates an intense flushing effect that can flush out minor trigger points and tension, and of course reduces inflammation by a lot. So that's my self-care tip for today. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them in comments below, and I'll see you next time. Take care.